What's up, everyone? Bob's Blu-rays here, and today I'm going to be going over my entire Blu-ray Studio non-slipcover movies in my collection. So last time I did this, it was all my Blu-ray Studio slipcovers. This time it's all non-slipcovers. So stay tuned. Right after this intro, we'll go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so before I go ahead and dive into it, I just wanted to give everyone a heads up. These are my opinions, and I may have some hot takes. You may disagree with me, and that's okay, because what I love, you may hate, and what you hate, I may love. And that's absolutely okay. That's the joy and beauty of film being so subjective. So, hopefully you enjoy the video, and I'll try and run through them as quickly as possible. Here we go. So let's go ahead and start with the movie 4321. Now, I'm going to have a lot of movies that I'm missing slipcovers for. I have a group, I have a list on Google Sheets that I keep where I'm missing all the slipcovers. I have OCD like that, and I want everything that came with it in the original pressing. So this is actually one of those movies I'm missing the slipcover for. I did not like this movie at all. A friend recommended it to me. Just didn't have fun with it, but that is a little fun fact. Josh Hartnett's wife right there, so that's kind of a cool little fact. So that's the first one. Here we've got a movie called 10 Years. If you've seen this one, it is about a high school reunion, and it's got a large cast. Channing Tatum's in it, Jenna Dowen. I really actually like this movie. I think it's relatable. I graduated high school probably close to 14 or 15 years ago, something like that. So I really enjoyed this movie. I liked 10 Years. 12 Rounds. This is John Cena. I like this one. I have fun with it. It's a fun action movie. They made a lot of sequels after this. I think 2 more. After that, 15 Minutes. I am a big fan of the movie 15 Minutes. This is such an awesome, underrated movie. I remember seeing this in theaters with my dad, and I'm just a huge fan of 15 Minutes. Big fan. I think it's a great movie. It's super underrated. I would check it out. I think Robert De Niro and Edward Norton give such great performances. The next one up is going to be 21. I think this movie is a ton of fun. It does have Kevin Spacey in it, so if you hate the guy and you don't want to watch anything with him, just a heads up, he is in this. But it's got a killer cast, and it's a fun movie. Big fan of 21. I think it's a blast. I remember seeing that one in theaters too. Next up, we've got 27 Dresses. This movie's pretty cool. It's not bad for like a romantic chick flick. It's all right. I like James Marsden, so I had fun with this one. Edward Burns is also in this. So yeah, it's a good one. And I think I said Edward Burns for 15 minutes, but yeah. 28 Days Later, and then 28 Weeks Later. So huge fan of this franchise, if you want to call it that. I heard that they're potentially making a third one. That would be awesome, because I think this is such a great movie. The way it's shot and everything like that, and then you got 28 Weeks Later. I actually prefer 28 Weeks Later a little bit. I think 28 Weeks Later is just such a blast. So as soon as the action starts, it's nonstop. Such a fun movie. 30 Days of Night, another blast. Josh Hartnett is in this. You got Melissa George, I believe is her name. Now, I may mispronounce or get the names wrong of some, just a heads up. So if you want to come after me in the comment section for getting a name wrong, that's okay. Save your time. But Melissa George is in that one, and I adore Melissa George. I think she's beautiful. She's a peach. And Josh Hartnett's one of my favorites from the 90s. So, 40-Year-Old Virgin. This is a fun watch. Always a good time. I remember seeing this one in theaters as well. Had a good time with that. Funny movie. 88 Minutes. I actually really need to rewatch this because we're talking 20 years. I saw this in theaters, and I haven't seen it since. So it has been a while. Probably not 20 years. It's been like 15 or 16, because I think it came out in like 2007 or something like that, but maybe before, can't remember. 2001 Maniacs. Oh, this is a wild movie. It's got some violent, gory moments. It's pretty short, less than an hour and a half long, and it's pretty wild, especially some of the kills are very creative and inventive. I liked it. I enjoyed some of the kills in that one. 3,000 Miles to Graceland. I have a blast watching this movie. I love the cast. You got David Arquette. You got Kurt Russell. Kevin Costner. I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan. Courtney Cox. Just a really fun movie. About Last Night. I'm trying to think. you know what, I did watch this one. I watched it a couple years ago for the first time, and I thought it was decent. It was okay. I remember not loving it. And then you got the remake of About Last Night with Kevin Hart. And also, what is her name? Regina Hall. And I think Regina Hall is beautiful as well. So I have seen that one, but I can't remember it very well. I'm not a fan of musicals. So Across the Universe, I just didn't have fun with it, but I'm not a fan of musicals very much. It's very rare that I enjoy a musical, but that's me personally. I know a lot of people love musicals. The next one is going to be Adventures in Babysitting. This is such a blast. Love that movie. Got Elizabeth Shue. She's so perfect. Shout out to KB. That is KB's woman right there. KB loves Elizabeth Shue. Next up, we have got Aftershock. Eli Roth's in this. This one, it's like I think there's a tsunami that hits, and then basically it's very violent, and there's some people that after the tsunami hits, I believe it is, and then you got aftershocks and stuff like that. This movie's crazy. It gets pretty violent. Check it out. If you like Eli Roth, something happens to him in that movie that's just like, oh, brutal. All the Right Moves. Yeah, it's not bad. It's from the 80s. It's a football movie, high school football movie. And little shout out to the movie Scream. If you've seen it, Tatum at one point says, if you pause it right, you could see his penis. She's talking about this movie, Tom Cruise, and All the Right Moves. So, yep. Alpha Dog is up next. Such a good one. This is so underrated as well. And I'm really hoping to do a Anton Yelchin remembering stream. Tim and I were big fans of Anton Yelchin. Really miss him. So I think I just have a few more spots to fill, maybe one or two more, and I'm hoping to do that soon. Elvin and the Chipmunks. It's fun. It's okay. It's not bad. I enjoyed it for what it's worth. American History X. Another good one. This is such a great movie. It's so relevant today. It's just, it's phenomenal. It's excellent movie. So good. It's very deep, very powerful movie. American Mary. Okay, this movie is wild. It's pretty bad shit. I enjoy this movie a ton. So much fun with it. I am a big fan of Catherine Isabel. She's also beautiful as well. And Jen and Sylvia Soska, they are the directors of this movie. And they also directed See No Evil 2, I believe. I have fun with this. And Catherine Isabel is also in See No Evil 2 as well. So I had fun with it. I had fun with that and See No Evil 2. Amityville Horror, another one with Melissa George. Ryan Reynolds, this is the remake of Amityville Horror. I actually really enjoyed this remake. Haven't watched it in ages. This would be a really fun rewatch for myself. I did just recently rewatch Annapolis. Big fan of this movie. You got such a good cast in this too. I really like James Franco in this one. Tyrese Gibson, I could take or leave him. But you got the beautiful Jordana Brewster. You got Donnie Wahlberg. It's a great cast. It's a very underrated movie, in my opinion. It seems like a lot of people don't care for this movie. I have fun with it. But I'm very big into like cliche, inspirational sports movies and underdog movies. Super big into those types of movies. I've never seen Antoine Fisher, so I can't talk about that one, unfortunately. Any Given Sunday, this is in need of a rewatch as well. It's got one of the best speeches at the end of this movie. There is a director's cut that's even longer. So the director's cut is 157 minutes. So we're talking 2 hours, 37 minutes long. This movie it's just so good. It's a great football movie. I believe Oliver Stone directed it. Huge cast. If you like football movies, you'll love this. But Al Pacino gives like one of the best speeches you'll ever hear in a movie. Arachnophobia. Very fun spider movie. Probably one of the best spider movies out there, if not the best spider movie out there. Armageddon. Much better than Deep Impact. I said it, and I will not take that back. Armored. I think this is super underrated as well. This is a great action movie. This is pretty intense. I enjoy this movie a ton. Big fan of Armored. I think that's a fun movie. I've never seen Assassin, so I can't say much about that. I gotta check this out, though. Assault on Precinct 13 remake. Huge fan of this movie. I think the remake is awesome. I think they did such a good job with this. I really enjoyed the Assault on Precinct 13 remake. AXL, I've only seen this once, and it was on Blu-ray. It's got the actress Becky G. She's like an artist too. I think she sings from she was in the remake of Power Rangers. I enjoyed AXL. It wasn't bad. Bachelor Party, one of the better raunchy comedies out there. Love that one. Tom Hanks. Haven't seen this yet. Still sealed. I got it from a Kino Lorber sale. So if you're ever in need of back in the day, Bad Boys. I also got this during a Target sale once, but I did check it out once. It's a bit slow, so if you're worried about that, this movie is slow. But Bad Boys is really good movie. The Bad News Bears is up next. This is the original Bad News Bears with Walter Matthau, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I have seen that one and I enjoyed it. And then the remake of Bad News Bears, and I also enjoyed this one as well. Billy Bob Thornton. It's fun. It's not great, but it's fun. Bad Santa is up next. I have a blast with this movie. It is a ton of fun. It is a great Christmas movie to watch. It's just a lot of fun. And you got the director's cut on there as well. Next up, we are going to have Bait 3D. I am a huge fan of this movie. I do not care if it's stupid, if the concept is dumb. This movie is a blast, especially like my first time watching this. I had such a fun time with it. I'm a big fan of Sharni Vinson, I believe is how you pronounce her name. And then Xavier Samuel, I thought was really good in it too. I liked his character, I should say. So, but it's got the actress Sharni Vinson is from You're Next. So she plays Erin in You're Next. Next up is Bangkok Dangerous. I don't hate this movie. I don't. A lot of people do. I don't. I had fun with it. It's not great, but I had fun with it. The Barbershop. I don't know which ones of these movies I've seen. I don't think I've seen this one. This is Barbershop The Next Cut. Barbershop The Next Cut. Basketball. Had fun with it. I know my buddy Derek, my brother Derek, is a big fan of this one. I have fun with basketball as well. Battle of Los Angeles. I'm a big fan of this movie. I think as far as sci-fi movies go, this is such a good one. Big fan of Battle of Los Angeles. Big fan of that one. A Bay of Blood is another one that I have not seen, but I've heard good things. I've got to check this out. Mario Bava. Beastly. I really liked this movie years ago when I watched it, okay? I was a big fan of it. Probably one of my favorite romantic movies. I've rewatched it, and it did not hold up. Let's just say that. I didn't mind it. I still had fun with it. Alex Pettyfer, if that's how you pronounce his name, in my opinion, he's a really bad actor. But I do like him, but he's a bad actor. And I just think Vanessa Hudgens is gorgeous, so I had fun with it. It's not good, but it's cheesy and it's a romantic movie. Beer League is up next. This movie's a lot of fun. I have a huge thing for baseball movies and things like that. Ralph Macchio's in this one. Beer League's fun. I enjoy that time. I enjoy that one. Every time I watch it, I have fun with it. Behind Enemy Lines is up next. This is something I haven't watched in, we're talking 20 years or so, probably. Yeah, I got to rewatch. Need of a rewatch. But I do like Behind Enemy Lines. I thought it was good. Better Off Dead. Not the biggest fan in the world. I don't remember loving it. Thought it was okay. Now this is Chris Evans' directorial debut, and he crushed it. This movie takes place in the course of one night. Alice Eve, Chris Evans, that's all you get, the entire movie. And I loved this movie. I had such a fun time with it. It is just, it's not something you expect from Chris Evans, but it's good. It's really good. It's got its cliche moments, but overall this movie is actually a really good romantic movie. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. Continuing on, we have got Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I've seen this once in theaters, actually watched this in theaters by myself a long time ago. It was okay. At that age it was okay. Big is such a fun time, man. This movie is so much fun. Tom Hanks does a rap in this, and I can't do the rap, but it's so good. So good. Big Daddy, love this one. I believe it cracked my top 25 90s movies. Big fan of Big Daddy. Big Trouble in Little China, you know what? It just doesn't work for me. It's not my style. It's not my cup of tea. I know that's going to rub people the wrong way, but, when it comes to certain movies, you got to be into that kind of style, I feel like, and all the stuff, the fantasy stuff doesn't work for me. I'm not a big fan of that. Billy Madison, this movie's hilarious. You know, it's a part of my childhood, though. Like, I grew up watching this Adam Sandler movie in particular, so I had fun with Billy Madison. That is correct. The Birds, this is a great Alfred Hitchcock movie. This is a masterpiece. It is perfection. It's so good. So good. That's probably my favorite Hitchcock movie. Black Dog. This is an underrated movie in Tim's Rotten Tomatoes stream a while back last year, probably almost a year ago. Him and I both pulled this. He pulled it and he did not expect anybody else to, but Black Dog is a fun one. Black Sheep. This one is not, you know, as far as Chris Farley goes, it's not one of his better ones, in my opinion. I like Tommy Boy much more. Blackwater Abyss. This is the sequel to Blackwater. This is rather pretty slow and boring. It's not great. It's not terrible either, though. Basketball Diaries. Shout out to my boy Nick. He just did a life lessons on this movie, and it gets really deep and powerful. You know, I will say, so the thing about movies like this and certain content creators on YouTube like Nick, when he did that video, like I reached out to him and he had me in tears talking about like some of the stuff in this movie and some of the things that what it meant to him and life lessons on it, and it was super powerful. Very good. Thanks, Nick, for that video. I appreciate that. Life lessons. Blade is up next. I love Blade. Such a classic. Blade's fun. I did recently rewatch it, and it actually wasn't. It didn't even make my top 25 90s, but it's fun. It's classic in my opinion in that way. Blade's Glory, I haven't watched this in ages. I think I saw this in theaters, and it might have been the last time, so we're talking 15, 16 years. The Blind Side. This is such a good one. Sandra Bullock in this. This is a good one. I like The Blind Side. The Bodyguard. I have not seen this. Still sealed. I love Kevin Costner. I have to check that out. I have to get around to that. The Bone Collector. I love this movie. This did make my top 25 90s. I'm a huge fan of The Bone Collector. Loved that movie when I was younger. Boomerang, I've never seen. Boondock Saints, I think I've seen once. I don't remember a single thing about this, so I'll have to rewatch that. Braven, this is another slip I'm missing. I like Braven. I had fun with this. I think it's fun. I think it's a good action movie. It's enjoyable. The Brave One, this is a pretty powerful one for a revenge movie, but I don't want to give too much away, but check out The Brave One if you haven't seen it. Brave One's really good. Broken Arrow, 90s cheese at its best. I love this movie. Same score from Scream as well. So much of that. I just adored Broken Arrow. So much fun. Christian Slater. Brotherhood is something that probably a lot of people haven't seen, and this movie is highly underrated. It's intense, and you wouldn't believe the ending, like the last 10, 15 minutes. It's not groundbreaking, but this movie's highly underrated in my opinion. I just think there's a lot of people sleeping on this that have never heard of this movie. So if you haven't, check out Brotherhood. Brotherhood's pretty wild. Can't say everybody's going to like it, but it's pretty wild. And technically, I'm going to put this in boutique labels eventually, but it's a Phase 4 films. So I guess it's more like a boutique label. Brothers. Oh, man, this movie's so good. In my opinion, I think that Tobey Maguire gave one of the best performances I've ever seen. So his performance deserved an Oscar nomination, I believe. I thought he gave easily his best performance ever. You got Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman, so you can't go wrong with the cast in this. But holy cow, some of the stuff that happens in the last 20 minutes, this movie is super heavy, and it's so good. Man, when he says, "I'm drowning, Tommy," like, oh, man. Powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. And then I go to Bucky Larson, Born to be a Porn Star. Or Born to be a Star, I should say. So this movie is... Everybody hates it. It's pretty much terrible, but you know what? I enjoy this movie. Maybe Christina Ricci's character is unrealistic, but you know what? I like her. And maybe, like I said, she is totally written by a male, and her character would never exist in real life because she's basically perfection and every guy's dream girl. But I have fun with this. It's cheesy, it's bad, and it's enjoyable. It's not good. That is not a good movie, but it's one of those that I like. I still haven't seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Never seen it. Next one, we got Bulletproof. I love this movie. I have such a fun time with this. And I thought this was supposed to come to Shout Factory or Scream Factory, and they never did it. Bullet, I still haven't seen it. I actually started it one day, like the first 3 minutes, and I turned something else on. But I got to check out Bullet. I got to check it out. I've heard it's got a great car chase scene. Caddyshack, I've seen it once. I'll have to rewatch this at some point for like a raunchy comedy stream. I like Caddyshack. It's okay. Castaway, love this movie. It's one of my favorites. Top 50 of all time. I think this movie is a masterpiece. The ending of the movie when he is just, I don't want to spoil too much, but like this movie is perfect for if you're at a crossroads and you're like, that scene never leaves my brain. I get goosebumps every time I talk about this movie. This movie, it's every bit of a masterpiece. Castaway is so good. So good. Cellular is badass action movie. I don't care what anybody else says. It's fun. I saw it in theaters. Had fun with it. Chasing Mavericks is pretty good. It's inspiring. It's not bad at all. I enjoyed it. Next up, we have got The Children. The remake of The Children. This is like the American version. This movie, it's not even American technically, but they speak English in it. So this movie, I really like this. I think The Children is highly underrated. Nobody talks about this movie, and the super ambiguous ending is something that I actually really like to this movie. And I think this movie is so well done. It is really well shot, in my opinion. And it's not perfect, but it's very violent. Like, The Children is violent. If you haven't seen it, watch it around Christmas time. I don't even know which ones of these I've seen. I don't even know I have this. Children of the Corn Genesis. I've never seen this one. I know I haven't seen that one. And then next up, another one I'm missing the slip for, I believe, is The Choice. I actually really like The Choice. I'm a big fan of this. Probably one of my favorites out there as far as romantic movies go. I think Teresa Palmer is just a beauty and a joy. You got Maggie Grace in this one as well. Tom Welling, I believe is how you pronounce it, and Alexandria Daddario. So it's got a pretty good cast, supporting cast, but The Choice is really good, super romantic. If you're into that stuff, you'll enjoy The Choice. Next up, A Christmas Story. So, hot take, probably one of the first ones here. I'm not a fan of this movie. That movie is boring. Next, City Island. It's pretty good. Seen it once. Not bad. Closer. Fish recommended this one to me. He loved it, and I loved it as well. This movie's so good. This is like a perfect movie with perfect dialogue. This movie is razor sharp as far as dialogue goes. Closer kicks ass. Cobra is awesome. I love Cobra. Such a fun action movie. I love Cobra. Cocktail. Oh, one of my favorite 80s movies. When Tim does his 80s top 25 community stream, you'll probably see Cocktail on my top 25. I don't think I could do a top 25 without Cocktail. I love Cocktail. The Collector, this franchise, and they only did 2, and they were supposed to do a 3rd one, but I believe during COVID, people stole stuff from the set, like set pieces, and they scrapped it. I'm so disappointed because The Collector and The Collection, and this one has a slipcover in the original pressing, so I'm missing it. The Collector and The Collection are some of my favorite horror movies of all time. I actually prefer The Collection a little bit more, but this one is so cool. Like, so the idea, in my opinion, if you're watching this, like Holland Oates, if you haven't seen The Collector and Collection, you need to watch these movies and let me know how you enjoyed them. But The Collector is awesome. It's basically, you're talking such a unique idea. A guy breaks into a house to steal, to like rob the family, and when he breaks in, he realizes that there's traps set up and somebody's already in there torturing the family, basically. And he's got to save the family that he broke in to rob. It's such a cool concept. And then The Collection is so badass. The introduction, the beginning of The Collection is amazing. That is probably top 10 horror films of all time for me. I love those 2 movies, especially the sequel. I've never seen Coming to America. Sorry, I gotta check that one out. Commando, classic action movie. Come on, Arnold. I love Commando. Con Air, super good as well. Another classic. I don't think this made my top 25 90s because I hadn't rewatched it, so I need to rewatch this one. The Condemned, I enjoy this one. You got Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think this is awesome. Awesome movie. Good action movie. I like that concept. So, I don't think this is a hot take, but I think this movie's dog crap. So this comedy doesn't work for me. So most of the stuff that Ken enjoys, as far as comedies go, I probably don't enjoy. Ken loves this movie. I hate this movie. I think this movie is stupid. It's so stupid. But that's a lot of movies. I'm just not into that kind of comedy, so it doesn't work for me. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody else. If you like Coneheads, I'm glad you liked it. I didn't. Cool Hand Luke, I just grabbed the Steelbook, but I still got this Blu-ray that I never even opened. But I have seen Cool Hand Luke long time ago in film class, and I think Cool Hand Luke is another masterpiece. Cop Out, I haven't seen this in ages, but Kevin Smith directed this. It's okay. It's all right. Country Strong, a movie about addiction. This is also like singing and different things like that. It's emotional and powerful, and I like this movie quite a bit. I thought Gwyneth, is it Gwyneth Paltrow, right? Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow gives a great performance in this movie. Big fan of Country Strong. Courageous, this is one of those faith-based movies directed by the Alex Kendrick, like the Kendrick brothers. I like these movies. I know Tony from Basement Blues is a big fan of Courageous as well. It is about a couple of fathers that want to be better dads, and they feel like they need to be better fathers, so they decide to start a resolution. And it's good. I mean, you know, if you're not into faith-based movies, you probably hate Courageous. But I know Tony's a fan of that one, so I got somebody has my back on that one. Courage Under Fire. I've actually never seen this. I can't talk about this. Is that like a young Denzel Washington? You got Meg Ryan. Holy cow. Lou Diamond Phillips. Matt Damon. Okay, this is a Scott Glenn, Seth Gilliam. This is a killer cast. I need to check this out. If you've seen Courage Under Fire, seriously, in the chat, let me know. I got to check that out. Wow. The Covenant. I like this movie. You know, it's directed by Rennie Harlin, which I actually heard that he's going to be doing a new shark movie. So he's the director of Deep Blue Sea. I believe he directed Die Hard 2, I believe. But I like Rennie Harlin, and I like this movie. It's entertaining, and, you know, when I watch a movie like this, that's what I'm looking for. It's not great, but it's entertaining. So Crash, the movie that a lot of people would say they think is the most overrated Best Picture winner. Hot take, maybe? Crash is a masterpiece, in my opinion. Maybe it's because it deals with race so much. I haven't seen Crash in a long time, so we'll see how it holds up. I think this movie's a masterpiece from my memory. I love Crash. I love this movie. I love the cast. Huge fan. All right, continuing on, we have got The Crazies. Another slip I'm missing, a rare slip to find. Basically, these movies, when they first came out, they were just difficult to find with slips because they were so limited in the first pressing. I love The Crazies remake. I'm a huge fan of it. You're going to start to see a lot of movies that I actually own, like steelbooks of or on 4K, but I'm still holding on to these. Space isn't an issue for me right now, so if it ever becomes an issue, I might start to give them away. We'll see. But I have a hard time parting ways with movies. I don't sell, and I like to hold on to movies, even if I do upgrade. So we've got Creature from the Black Lagoon, the original that I've never actually seen. Never seen it, from the 50s. I'm sorry, Caprice. I know she's recommended that one and told me to get on it. I need to watch it on 4K. Cruel Intentions. We're talking top 5 favorite movies of all time for me. I love Cruel Intentions to death. This is one of my favorites. It's so nostalgic to me. Cruel Intentions is amazing. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for that. I love Cruel Intentions. Cujo. I'm not a fan of Dee Wallace, personally. She just screams and complains and cries a lot. Not just in this movie and everything. She's a whiner, in my opinion, but in most movies. Cujo's pretty cool. I do like Cujo. It's not bad. Daredevil. I enjoy Daredevil. I like it. It's not, I've rewatched it recently, and it's not great. A lot of the CGI is really bad. You know what, though? I like Ben Affleck. It's Daredevil. I mean, I love the show way more, but I think Jennifer Gardner in this movie is stunning. I mean, absolutely stunning. Remarkable. Just looks incredible. And it's fun. I have a fun time with it. Dawn of the Dead remake. This is one of my favorite horror remakes of all time. And I think it's actually, hot take here, I think it's better than the original. I am a way bigger fan of zombies that run. It's terrifying. The Day After Tomorrow, I like this movie. Roland Emmerich, I mean, however you pronounce his name, but I'm a fan of The Day After Tomorrow. I'm a fan. Daylight is another one that I absolutely love. 90s cheese at its best. This is a great movie. Daylight is so good. I probably like Daylight more than Cliffhanger, to be honest. The Dead, I think I've seen this once, but I couldn't tell you a thing about it. I got this for like $1 or something like that. I still haven't watched this. Deadheading, Evil on a Plane. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Dead Man on Campus, recent Target sale, I believe. I've seen this once. It's a fun one. My buddy Chris told me to watch that and check it out. We've got Dead Poets Society. Another one that's, I did watch. Caprice recommended it to me. I don't want to give too much away in my thoughts on this, so I won't talk too much about it, but it's a good movie. Next up after that, we have got Death at a Funeral. I like this movie. I'm not sure if it's a remake. I couldn't tell you. I like Death at a Funeral. I have fun with it. It's good comedy. Dear John, probably my favorite Nicholas Sparks movie. I love Dear John. I'm not a fan of Channing Tatum very much. I mean, he's okay. I just don't think he's a great actor. But Amanda Seyfried, I mean, however you want to pronounce her name. We were talking about this the other day. You could say Seyfried, but she is great in this. I love Amanda Seyfried. So good. I think Dear John's Nicholas Sparks at his best. I like the kind of ambiguous ending. It's not a perfect movie, but the scene between him and his dad in the hospital wrecks me because those father-son moments always get me. Death Warrant. Here we go. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Huge fan of this one. Love this movie. Death Warrant kicks ass. And Scorpion Releasing put that out. We have got Death Wish. I've only seen parts of this. I've actually never seen all of them, so I got to check these out. There's 4 of them, I believe. I've never seen any of them. The Heartbreak Kid. You know what? This movie, I'm a fan of it, but man, he's a terrible character. He's an awful character. She's a bit crazy, but, you know, it's interesting to hear people's takes on this movie because some people are like, he's terrible. I mean, he married her. He knew what he was getting into, and then he just found somebody better. I feel like this is a perfect example of not knowing how to be single, Ben Stiller. And then always thinking the grass is greener on the other side, I guess. I don't know. I like it. It's funny. I laughed my ass off during that movie. Deception. This is okay. I recently rewatched it, recommended it to Fish, and I was like, I think he enjoyed it more than I did. I didn't really enjoy Deception. It was pretty boring. Deep Blue Sea. Speaking of Rennie Harlan, here you go. So he is going to be directing another shark movie I just read. Deep Blue Sea is awesome. This is one of the better shark movies out there, probably next to Jaws. Demolition Man, I've never seen. I still need to get around to that. Delivery Man, I've seen this once. He's got like 500 kids out there. 533 children from donations, of sperm donations. Den of Thieves, I've seen this once and or twice. Once, it's good. It's not bad. Derailed, fun little thriller. I thought this was pretty good. Pretty darn good. The Descent. This is, dare I say, like, near masterpiece as far as horror movies go, and like making you feel claustrophobic. The Descent is perfect. The Descent is so good. It's so intense, so good. And then I love Devil. My dad and I are big fans of this movie. I actually really like Logan Marshall Green. Don't they call him like Tom Hardy's like twin, or like broke Tom Hardy or something like that? Discount Tom Hardy. Next up, we've got The Devil's Rejects. This is, in my opinion, Rob Zombie's best movie, I think. I'm trying to think of anything else I like more than it. Devil's Rejects is perfect. It's really good. Dirty Dancing, awesome. 80s cheese, 80s goodness. Disconnect, top 10 of all time for me. This movie is, in my opinion, one of the heaviest films I've ever seen. I think it covers almost close to like type of Whale, The Whale, where it covers 80,000 different topics. And this movie covers so much. It's masterpiece. This is every bit of a masterpiece. I'm sorry, if you haven't seen Disconnect, you need to watch this movie. Disconnect is so good. It is so good. Disturbia is next. I love Disturbia. It's basically a remake of Rear Window. I love Disturbia. Shia LaBeouf. I was obsessed with Sarah Romer when I was like a teenager after I saw this movie. Huge fan of this movie. And then you got her. She was in Fired Up as well, which is another one that I like. You might see that. Dodgeball. This is fun. This is fun. Shout out to Tim. I think it's one of his favorite 2000s comedies. He's not a big fan of 2000 comedies, though. Don't say a word. You know what? I rewatched it, and it did not hold up. It was a first-time watch in like 20 years, and it did not hold up. It was boring. Didn't work for me very well. It was okay. Double Impact. I haven't seen this in ages. I'm going to have to rewatch that as well. I have got stacks of movies around me right now, all over the place. So these movies are not on shelves behind me. These are actually on like racks that I have. I need to get more shelves, but it is just a nightmare. There's so many movies. I've still got so much to go through, and I'm going through it as quick as possible. So I hope you're enjoying this video so far. I can't wait to get into boutique labels because there's going to be a lot more videos, but less, like it's not going to be such long videos. Down to Earth, never seen it. Dr. Dolittle, I haven't seen this in ages. I saw it in theaters. It's cool. Dredd, remake of Judge Dredd. This is a good one. I got this 4K Steelbook from Lionsgate recently because they re-released it. Drill Bit Tailored's a fun one. I actually enjoy this one. Had a lot of fun with Drill Bit Tailored. It's not great, but had fun. Driven is probably a terrible NASCAR racing movie, but it's entertaining and it's fun, and I like Driven. I have fun with that. Eagle Eye, another one that I have fun with. Not great, but it's fun. Haven't watched in ages. Easy A, I'm probably not as big on this movie as some are, but I do like Easy A. I just don't love it. Amanda Bynes, before she went really kooky. Edge of Darkness, I've only seen this once, and I think it was in theaters, and I remember thinking it was pretty good. Live, Die, or Repeat. I got the 4K and stuff, and the Steelbook set and all that stuff, but I still have this Blu-ray, and I like Live, Die, or Repeat. Or Edge of Tomorrow. Depends on which one you call it. I like it. I call it Edge of Tomorrow, personally. Empire. I like this movie. Nick and Dell did a movie swap, and Nick had Dell watch this movie, I believe. And I liked Empire. I'm a fan of Empire. And Nick, there is a Blu-ray, buddy. Gotta grab that Blu-ray if you haven't yet. Empire Records. This is great. This is good 90s cheese as well. Yeah, I'm a fan of Empire Records. Employee of the Month. This actually came with a slip in the original pressing as well, I guess. Like, talk about a hard one to find. But yeah, you got, what is her name? Jessica Simpson or something like that, right? Yeah, Jessica Simpson. I was drawing a blank. But yeah, Dax Shepard, and Dane Cook is not a good actor. Sorry. Enemy of the State. Another one that I was expecting to make my 90s list, and it didn't. I enjoyed it, but didn't love it on the remake, or on the rewatch. It was good. It just didn't quite hold up the same. Escape from LA. It is not nearly as good as the original Escape from New York. It's not bad. Eternal Sunshine from the Spotless Mind. Of the Spotless Mind. Not a fan. Not a fan. I know, hot take. Eurotrip. This is fun. Raunchy comedy. I need to rewatch this, but it's a fun one. Scotty doesn't know. It's a good one. Everyday. This is okay. It's not bad. It's all right. It's okay. Evil Dead remake from 2013. Had a blast with it. Super bloody. It's great. It's awesome. Exit Wounds. One of my favorite DMX movies. I enjoyed this one. It's a little past Steven Seagal's prime, but hot take, I don't think he's bad in that. I don't think he's bad. The Express, one of my favorite football movies of all time. I love The Express. You got Rob Brown in this. I mean, you've got just such a good cast. Dennis Quaid. Awesome cast in this one. awesome cast. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, classic 80s. It's good stuff. Good one. Phoebe Cates in that one. Fatal Attraction. This is another good one. We have got Glenn Close, who was robbed of an Oscar for this. Fat Man. It's a fun Christmas movie. Actually, Gus recommended this to me, and I enjoyed it. It's not perfect, but it's good. Feast. The original's good. I hated the second and third. I did not like the sequels. The Final Destination, the fourth one, probably the weakest in the franchise. Final Destination 2, I have fun with this one. And then you got Final Destination 5. So I really like Final Destination 2. I remember getting like a mini poster when I saw it in theaters. And then Final Destination 5. They're all enjoyable. I like the Final Destination franchise, and I think they are remaking it, or a sequel. The Final Girl, or just Final Girl. This is a decent flick. It's not great, but it's a decent movie. Check it out. Abigail Breslin's in it, and it's interesting. It's okay. It's not bad. Final Girls, The Final Girls. This one is. I love this movie. I think it's so much fun. This is just it's a good time. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's entertaining. Maybe it should have been rated R, but it's not. It's PG-13. But if you can handle PG-13 horror comedies, this is fun. I do like The Final Girls. There's Fired Up I was talking about earlier, because you got Sarah Romer in this one. This movie's quotable. It's like Bring It On, like a Bring It On ripoff. It's fun. I like it. Will Gluck directed it. It's a blast. This movie's so much fun. And the unrated version is shows a lot more. I enjoy this one. I enjoy Fired Up. I have such a fun time watching that. For Love of the Game, Kevin Costner's one of my favorites, if not my favorite actor. And you got Kelly Preston, John C. Reilly, Jenna Malone. This is one of my favorite Kevin Costner movies. This is one of my favorites of the 90s. This is one of my favorites of all time. I Do Not Care. It is probably definitely my favorite baseball movie. There's just something about this movie. You mix romance and baseball, and it is so, so good. So good. Forever Strong. I love this movie. I'd say kind of faith-based, a little bit, not really, but it's really good, like, not necessarily underdog, but like a redemption story, and kind of getting your life right, because he makes some mistakes in it. Sean Ferris is in it, Penn Badgley, Sean Astin. It's good. I like that one a lot. And Gary Cole's in it as well. So, good one. Footloose, the original. Fun. One of the best soundtracks ever, probably. Four Brothers. This is an entertaining action movie. I like Four Brothers. Fracture, I can't remember this one. Oh, you know what? I do a little bit. I remember it a little bit, but not super well. It's okay. I remember thinking it was decent. I think I gave it like 3 stars. Freaks of Nature. You got Vanessa Hudgens in this, and she looks great. When doesn't she? But I know a lot of people hate her. But Freaks of Nature's, it's fun. It's no Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, though. But it's fun. It's okay. Mackenzie Davis is in this one. Freddy vs. Jason. This is so much fun. It's probably my, I don't care, hot take. Like, it's right up there. It's this or the original Nightmare on Elm Street for my favorite Freddy Krueger movies. And it's probably one of my favorite Jason movies, too. I love Freddy vs. Jason, but I saw this in theaters with my dad, and it was a really good, experience. And it was a lot of fun. And we had a blast, and I had a blast. And I love Freddy vs. Jason. And I don't give a crap what you think if you hated it. Frenzy, not a good shark movie. This is really bad CGI. I remember one day my dad was like, "Oh, what's this? It looks good." And I was like, "Yeah, we're not watching that." So he'll look at my movies and just be like, "Oh, cool." Like, he'll see the artwork, right? That's how, people talk about art collectors, right? Well, that's how some of these companies sell us. I did not like Frenzy. Friday, I've never seen any of the 3 of them, but I've heard the only thing on here is the director's cut, I believe. And I've heard that the other cut is way better, so I don't know. We'll see. Friend Request. I haven't seen this. Friends with Benefits. This is such a fun movie. I love this comedy. I love Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake in this. Had a blast. From Dusk Till Dawn. Classic vampire movie, 90s, great. Frozen, one of the best survival flicks that I've ever seen. I think Frozen is perfection as far as like isolation, stranded. I don't want to say claustrophobic, but just, oh my goodness, not being able to, because it's not claustrophobia because they're in the open, but not being able to move off of something. It's crazy. This movie's so captivating. It is so good. Frozen's so good. That's the real Frozen movie, not some Disney movie. Full Metal Jacket. I have the 4K of this. I missed out on the Steelbook, unfortunately. This is a good one. Everybody talks about the first half. Nobody ever talks about the second half, but the first half is really good. Garfield 1 and 2. I think I've seen 1 and 2. I've definitely seen the first. I enjoy Garfield. I'm a fan of cats. CGI is bad. It's just a fat cat. It's fun. Garfield's fun. It's okay. Getaway, only seen it once. A lot of people hated this one. It's fine for what it's worth, I guess. I haven't seen Gifted. G.I. Jane is up next. G.I. Jane is very good. She does one-handed push-ups in it, Demi Moore. The Girl Next Door, probably my favorite raunchy comedy of all time. I think this movie is highly underrated. I think it's done with very good taste. I think it has actually it's a really enjoyable movie. I think it's really well made. Girl Next Door is highly underrated. Not enough people talk about that. Girls Against Boys, I like it. It's pretty violent at times. It's not bad. It's decent. Glory Road. This is a great basketball movie. Love Glory Road. God's Not Dead 2. I've seen all 3 of these. This did come with a slip in the original pressing. I missed out on it. You know, Melissa Joan Hart is actually in this. Most people would absolutely hate these movies. Tony's probably the only one out there who likes them. I don't mind the first one. They get a little worse as they go on. Most people would probably call those some of the worst movies ever made, though. Godzilla 3D from 2014, I believe. You know, there's just not enough Godzilla in these movies. Gone, Baby, Gone. This is, I believe, Ben Affleck's directorial debut, but I think this is excellent with a excellent ending. It is very thought-provoking. Gone in 60 Seconds is up next. You know, this is such a fun movie. I enjoy the heck out of Gone in 60 Seconds, the remake. I believe there's an original, I think, yeah. So, Gone in 60 Seconds, remake. Had a blast with it. I need to rewatch it. Good Luck, Chuck. Still sealed, but I did watch this a while back. And, yeah, it's pretty funny at times. It's not the world's greatest movie. I feel like at times I'm like Dane Cook in this movie because I shouldn't say every woman I sleep with because that makes me sound terrible. Every woman that I've dated, I feel like is married or has kids. So yeah, it's pretty wild. So everyone he sleeps with, basically the next man they meet gets married or something like that. Ends up meeting the love of their life. So I'm like that, but with relationships. Everybody I've ever dated is now married, I swear. The Greatest Game Ever Played. Never seen it. Buddy of mine, Johnny, sent me it a while back. Great Outdoors, fun. It's a fun movie. Gremlins 2. Ken thinks this is better than the original. I do not. I do like it, but I like the original more. The Guardian, it's cliche, sure, but this movie never gets old. It's one of those movies when I'm feeling down or anything like that, or I need to pick me up, I'm watching The Guardian. If I'm depressed, I'm watching The Guardian. I love The Guardian. Hardball, this movie is super emotional at the end. Very uplifting. I love Hardball. Hard Rain. Hard Rain's a classic 90s cheesy action movie with, I believe, Betty White and Christian Slater. And there's some funny moments in this, and you got Minnie Driver in this as well. I love Hard Rain. Hard Target, another just fun 90s cheese. 4K, Kino Lorber put it out. Awesome. Hard to Kill, probably one of my favorite Steven Seagal movies. Really enjoyed this one as well. I have not seen Harlem Nights. The Happening is pretty bad. I remember seeing it in theaters and haven't watched it since. And people still don't know if he was trying to make a terrible movie or not. But there's some questionable things in that movie. Yeah, so Happy Gilmore. I do like this movie, but I think that Billy Madison is a touch better. But I do like Happy Gilmore. I just didn't watch it until a little bit later in life, I believe. So I didn't watch this one when I was a kid. I watched Billy Madison. Hatchet. Hatchet 2. And then I got Hatchet 3 and 4 over there as well. Hatchet and Hatchet 2 are fun. They're all fun. They're all fun movies. Like I said, Hatchet 3 as well. So Hatchet 3 is another fun one. These movies are just gory, cheesy fun for horror fans. Heartbreak Ridge, I've still never seen it. Need to check it out. Came as a recommendation by Adam, the movie hunter. Heat, masterpiece. So good. Heat is a classic. Heathers, hot take. I wasn't a big fan. Didn't work for me. I didn't love Heathers. He said, she said. I have not seen this yet, but I believe that, I thought, who wrote this? I'm looking. I can't find it. It was not directed by anybody I know. Nope. I thought this was written by, somebody else. Never mind. High Tension. This is gore French horror at its finest, in my opinion. Alexandre Aja is great directing in this. He's very good directing. He directed the remake of Prana and the movie Crawl and the remake of Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes too. Speaking of the Hills Have Eyes, and then the original Hills Have Eyes too. So you got both Hills Have Eyes 2s here. I like the, I like the originals way more, but the sequels to both Hills Have Eyes 2s are not terrible. They're both watchable for me, but they're not great. But I have fun with them. A History of Violence, this movie is awesome. There is a wicked bullying scene in this movie where the bully gets his, and it's always one of my favorites. Home Run, this movie is about addiction. He is an alcoholic, and it is all about baseball and addiction. And he has to go to Celebrate Recovery for it, which I've done. I had to go to, so myself. Honey is a fun one. I like Honey. It's not great, but it's fun. And Jessica Alba dancing. Who doesn't like that? Honeymoon in Vegas, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, I've never seen this, but I grabbed it because I think it was super cheap on Amazon, and I saw it once. I'm not the world's greatest or biggest Sarah Jessica Parker fan. In the 80s, she's fine. In the 90s too, but not anymore. So this was 92, so maybe she was still looked normal before she had like way too much work done. Hoosiers. This is a good one. A basketball movie. We got horns here. This is also Alexandre Aja. I didn't mind it actually, surprisingly. Hostage, this is good. I like Hostage. I think that's underrated. Hot Tub Time Machine 2. I don't know if I've seen the sequel. Hours, which is one of Paul Walker's last movies, and I think this might be his best performance he ever gives. Paul Walker is unforgettable in this. It's super good. House of Wax remake. I like it. Big fan of the House of Wax remakes. Had a blast with it. How to Be Single. Another fun one. I actually really enjoyed this one. It's not about men, but How to Be Single. I could take a lesson or two from that movie. The Hunted. I have not seen this. I Am Wrath. I've seen it once, missing the slipcover as well. Pretty good. Not bad. I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. I just recently showed this to a bunch of friends, and they actually all loved it. And I wasn't sure because this movie is next level offensive, but I was not watching it with anybody that is sensitive, so they enjoyed it. I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell is super offensive, and I enjoy the heck out of this movie. I love you, Beth Cooper, and I love Beth Cooper. Oh my goodness. Hayden Panettiere in this movie. I love you, Beth Cooper. I had so much fun with that one. Into the Blue. This is a good one. It's a good one. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's a good one. I Love You, Man is such a fun time. I love this movie. Is her name Rashida Jones, I believe? She is beautiful. Rashida Jones is great. She's funny. She's awesome. She's fun. Into the Wild, very good movie as well. Very sad. Very heartbreaking. Invictus, I was a little bored by that. It was okay. The Invisible. I love this movie. I think it's underrated too. It's not great, but I'm a big fan of The Invisible. Big fan of The Invisible. I Spit on Your Grave remake. I Spit on Your Grave 2. And I Spit on Your Grave 3, Vengeance is Mine. So all three I Spit on Your Grave remake movies. So in this one, you've got the actress that is in this. She's in the third one. The second one she's not in. It's a different actress. When I saw this in theaters, we had to travel to Chicago to go see this downtown. And I saw it with a couple friends. My buddy Chris would remember. The theater before ours, the usher that was taking our ticket stubs was telling us a cool little story that the father and mother went to go see it, the theater before ours. And I was like, man, how would it be watching a movie like this as a parent, as a father especially, having to watch your daughter? Like, she's full frontal nudity in this. That's got to be weird. But supporting your daughter, I guess. It's just watching a movie like that, watching her play a scene like that. That's rough. And then I Spit on Your Grave, Deja crap. I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu is awful. This movie's so bad. It's 2 hours, 30 minutes long. It's ridiculous. 2 hours, 28 minutes to be exact. This movie drags. It's terrible. We're watching rape for over an hour. It's so bad. This movie is garbage. It is not good. That movie's garbage. I Know What You Did Last Summer is such classic. This landed in Tony's top 25 90s movies. So shout out to Tony for that. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I am a big fan of the sequel. Hot take maybe, but I love the sequel. I actually have a ton of fun with the sequel. Jaws, the original. Jaws 2. Jaws 3. And then Jaws, the Revenge. So all four Jaws movies. They get worse as they go on, but Jaws 2 is still good. Jaws 3 is not great, but there's moments in it that aren't terrible. And then Jaws, the Revenge is just not very good. It's a little boring, and it's not bad. None of them are terrible. And Jaws is a classic. Jennifer's Body is fun. It's become, over time, I feel like possibly a cult classic, if you will. Jingle All the Way, right here. Fun, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. It's a blast to watch. A couple more here in this pile. We got John Q. This is such a good movie about fathers. Oh man, that's a good one. You could watch that on Father's Day. A Journal for Jordan. This is a good one. I recently rewatched it. I recently watched it for the first time. It's not great. I don't know who she was, but I wasn't like a fan. I wasn't drawn into her character or anything like that. She's fine. Shantae Adams, I believe. It's good. It's not great. Denzel Washington directed it. Joyride, classic. Absolute classic. One of the best horrors out there. Joyride 3. This is, a sequel. So they don't have Joyride 2. I like Joyride as a horror movie, all three of them. They're great. They're fun. The second and third are not good movies, but they're fun for horror fans to enjoy and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully that helps. But Joyride 2 and 3 have good gory moments. Judge Dredd is awful. This movie's trash. Just Married is a lot of fun. Unfortunately, this disc does not play. I don't know why it doesn't play for a lot of people. And then last one in this pile, and then I'll get into the stuff behind me, is The Karate Kid. The remake, the Karate Kid remake. Look, I don't mind remakes, but this movie's not like great. They had so much to live up to, but Jaden Smith is unbearably awful in this movie. He is so bad. So bad. Jackie Chan couldn't carry this movie if he tried with Jaden Smith. Holy cow. What I really didn't like about this movie, and I wanted to like this movie, and I did, but it does not work that he's like 8 or not. He's like, 12 or 13 in this movie, or 11 or 12. That does not work. This Karate Kid works as a high schooler. It does not work as an 11 or 12-year-old. Maybe younger. I don't know. He looked like he was 6 years old. I did not like Jaden Smith in this movie. Now I'm going to get into movies that have no alphabetical order to them at all. So they're going to be all over the place because they're on the shelf and they're not alphabetized over here. I need to get another shelf so I could get all of these standard Blu-rays without slips up on a shelf. Under Siege, I haven't seen it. My dad told me I got to watch that. The Hit List, I have not seen it. I got it during a recent Target sale. Patch Adams, one of my favorite Robin Williams movies. Along Came Polly. This movie's a blast. Philip Seymour Hoffman's hilarious in it. I have such a fun time. I think this movie is hilarious. This is one of those movies. I love when I can watch a movie where I don't have to try to laugh. I hate when I'm watching a comedy and I feel like I'm trying to laugh. This movie has genuine laughs for me. Romeo and Michelle, high school reunion. It's good. It's kind of 90s cheese. One Day is something I haven't seen yet. I need to check it out. Necessary Roughness. This was okay. It wasn't bad. I recently watched it for the first time. I had fun moments with it. I've never seen the Entourage movie or the show. I've seen parts of this, though. But it's got a good cast. Henry Poole is Here, another faith-based movie. I remember loving this movie in theaters. I have not seen it since. George Lopez is in it as well. Next up, we've got Faster. It comes from the director George Tillman Jr., who's one of my favorite directors of all time. I love Faster. I think Faster is really good. I think it's another underrated one. One of Paul Walker's best is Running Scared. This is such a good one. Varsity Blues, another Paul Walker movie, if you will. It's good. It's a fun 90s football movie. I believe it's 90s. It's like late 90s. We've got A Perfect World. This is so good. Clint Eastwood actually directed this, and he starred in it. You've also got Laura Dern and Kevin Costner, of course. This is so good. This is really good. Menace to Society, very raw gangster movie in the 90s. The Marine. This is good. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's a lot of fun. It's very action-packed. Shanghai Noon double feature. So Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights. I like Shanghai Noon. I haven't watched Shanghai Nights or either one of them in ages. You Don't Mess with the Zohan. This is fun for what it's worth. It's not good at all, but it has its moments, I guess. Wrong Turn and Wrong Turn 2. So Wrong Turn and Wrong Turn 2. I think I have like 3. You might see some movies end up, because they're all out of order right now. But I have all these, I believe, most of them. Wrong Turn is a classic. This is the best in the franchise, in my opinion. The remake's good, but it doesn't touch this. Wrong Turn 2 is actually fun, too. There's some really cool, gory moments in that. Without Remorse, it's on Amazon Prime on 4K. I don't know why I bought this. It doesn't even have a slip, but I haven't watched it yet. Next up, we have got Wish Upon. Wish Upon, it's all right. Wind Talkers. I haven't watched it in ages, but I remember loving Wind Talkers. Need to watch Wind Talkers again. Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. I just recently rewatched this, and it did not hold up very well. It's not very good. It's not very good. Yeah, here's the rest of the Wrong Turn movies here. So we got 3 and 6. I don't believe I have 4 and 5 because they came with slips, and they're really expensive to get with the slips. Wrong Turn 3 is weird because the only character in Wrong Turn 3 of the killers is Three Finger, I believe is what his name is. And Wrong Turn 6 is garbage. This movie's utter trash. It's terrible. That movie's garbage. It's so bad. It's so bad. That movie pisses me off. Wedding Crashers. I'm knocking movies over. I got angry. Wedding Crashers is so funny. This is iconic. It's classic raunchy comedy. That movie's so good. Wedding Crashers is a classic. It's so good. It is so good. Man on Fire. I haven't watched it in ages. I need to rewatch that. Man on a Ledge. This is a really good movie, underrated. Nobody talks about it. Kramer vs. Kramer came as a recommendation from Gus. I have not seen it yet. A Knight's Tale. I haven't watched in ages, but I do remember liking it. Heath Ledger, I do need to do a remembering stream for him as well. I have a couple spots left available. Once I fill that, I'm going to do that. Kung Fu Panda and Kung Fu Panda 2. I'm still working on getting the slip cover for these. I I haven't seen 2 or 3, but I've seen 1, and I liked 1, and I need to rewatch them. And I think they're doing a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th, they announced. Knockout, I haven't watched in ages. I remember liking it, though. Stone Cold Steve Austin again. The Last House on the Left remake, another slip that's really hard to get that I'm missing. I love the remake of The Last House on the Left. Love it. It's still held up. Would You Rather is so underrated. If you are a fan of any kind of horror movies at all, or just watch Would You Rather. You need to watch Would You Rather. You have to watch this movie. Howland Oates, if you haven't seen that, check it out. Maid of Honor is also fun. This is a fun watch. Like, I have a good time with Maid of Honor. I don't care. We'll see how it holds up, but I had fun with it. Medea Goes to Jail. I haven't seen it. Interview with the Vampire. I still have not seen yet. Kiss of the Dragon. Jet Li is awesome. I just love Jet Li. I love Kiss of the Dragon. It's not my favorite Jet Li, but it's up there. 50 First Dates is one that I've only seen once, and it's not one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. I need to rewatch that because I did not love it. I liked it, but it just wasn't my favorite. White Men Can't Jump. But he jumps. He can jump at the end. He jumps. Don't worry about that. Some white people can jump. What Woman Wants. You know, this came to Blu-ray for the first time recently, and it's pretty good. I don't mind it. You got Marissa Tomei, Helen Hunt, Mel Gibson. It's not bad. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Some would say Leonardo DiCaprio should have been nominated for an Oscar, and I would agree with that. Miss Congeniality 1 and 2. I think I've seen both of these in theaters, and we're talking a long time ago, so I don't remember them very well at all. Spontaneous. This is another underrated movie, kind of coming of age, kind of horror, kind of romance, kind of a bit of everything. Next up after that, we've got Last Castle. I haven't watched this in 20 years, but Tim is a big fan of it as well. I think The Last Castle is really good. I can't wait to rewatch that. Larry Crown, I've never seen it. Next up here, we have got Land of the Dead. It's not the best zombie movie, but it's not awful either. It's just not great. Ladybugs, if I've seen this, it was when I was a kid, like 4 or 5 years old, so it's been a long time, but I think I have. LA Confidential, this is another slip that is so hard to find, but I like LA Confidential. I think LA Confidential is really good. I haven't seen this in ages. I need to rewatch Vantage Point, but I remember liking it quite a bit. And then this is one of my favorites. It's cheesy. It's not the best movie in the world, but it's one of those guilty pleasures, I guess. This would be a perfect example of, and I love it. Never Back Down. All right, continuing on, we have got The Redeemed. So a lot of these just recently came from Sean. We have got Shimmer, The Longest Week, which I still haven't gotten around to yet, but I will very soon. Love Jason Bateman. The Parts You Lose with Aaron Paul. Haven't watched it yet. The Marrying Man. Haven't seen it. Remember Me. I've seen it once and was a long time ago. The Coalition. I have not watched yet either. Flipper, classic children's movie, right? Cold Light of the Day, I have not seen yet. The Perfect Storm, watched it a long time ago. Spree, I've heard great things about. I got to check it out. On the Road, I haven't seen yet either. Don't Worry, Darling, I didn't get around to yet, but I need to very, very soon. And Survival of the Dead. So Sean sent me a lot of those movies. Thank you so much, Sean. I do appreciate it very much. A Man Apart. Oh, I love this movie. This is another one, if you want to call it a guilty pleasure. You got Vin Diesel and Lorenz Tate. And I loved Lorenz Tate when I was younger, still do. But this is one of, like, my favorites. I love A Man Apart. The action in that movie is top notch. I love A Man Apart. The Kids Are All Right. This is pretty good. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Kindergarten Cop. I heard this is getting a 4K from Kino Lorber soon. Classic. Major League, I don't even mind the second or third. They're not great, but they're not bad. But Major League is a classic baseball comedy. Mad Money, I haven't watched this in ages, but I'm not like the biggest fan of Katie Holmes. And Queen Latifah's fine. But Diane Keaton is great. She's great. And this was not. It was on sale from Target, so I bought it. Love and Other Drugs. This is so good. This is an underrated movie. Love and Other Drugs is excellent. Excellent movie. The Longest Yard, the remake. It's a good comedy. It's fun. Lock Up. I do have the 4K of this. I love Lock Up. I'm a huge fan. Step Brothers, classic comedy as well. Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. And you know what? Mizzy pulled this yesterday in the slipcovers and steelbooks tournament, and he pulled this with a slip. I believe it was him. He had the slip with it. That lucky guy. He has the slip. McFarland USA. This is one of those cross-country movies, and you got Kevin Costner, and I do like it. It's not like the world's greatest, but it's good. Marked for Death. Another fun one. Marine 6, Marine 4, Marine 3, and Marine 2. And Marine I already showed off. And the reason I don't have Marine 5 over here is because it came with the slipcover, so it's in a different shelf. I've seen all 6 of these, and I like them all. I enjoy them all for what they're worth. They're not great, but they're fun. I haven't seen this yet. We've got The Man Who Knew Too Little, Man on Fire, another copy of this. I believe I pulled it earlier, but yeah. With a different case, a different cover art. That's good. Little Miss Sunshine. I love this. It came as a recommendation. I had never heard of it. Thank you, Diego, because this is so good. Little Man. I actually enjoy this movie. I have a lot of fun with it. I laugh at it. Lion is a good time. It's emotional and powerful. It's a bit slow, but it is very moving. The Faculty is a all-timer for me. Classic, 90s, one of the best to ever do it. Awesome movie. Robert Rodriguez killed it in that, directing that. Over the Top is cheesy 80s goodness. This is so over the top and cheesy, and it's perfect. So much fun if you love that cheesiness. Legendary, fun. It's fun. It's a good one. It's kind of inspiring. I believe it's kind of a faith-based. I'm not sure. Leatherface. This is like the prequel origin story, kind of. They've done so many of these in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I didn't mind it. It's not great, but I didn't mind it. Leaving Las Vegas. Very, very, very dark, powerful, emotional addiction movie. My dad recommended that one to me, and whew, that's heavy. Mean Girls with the pink Blu-ray case here. Classic, right? Classic comedy. It's fun time. It's fun time. A Time to Kill. This is a long movie, like 2 hours 40 or 2 hours 50 minutes, 2.5 hours, but it is so good. This is a masterpiece. A Time to Kill is a masterpiece. This Is Where I Leave You is another recommendation, and this is something I absolutely loved. This is so good. I love this movie. Love that movie. This Means War. It's funny. Stuck in Love is something that I really love as well. I believe I pulled this in a top 5 romantic stream. I love Stuck in Love. I love the cast. Porky's, classic 80s comedy, raunchy comedies. Point of No Return came as a recommendation from Fish. I liked it for what it's worth. Point Break. I need to rewatch this. I actually like the remake, but I need to rewatch the original. It's good. Piranha 3D. This is fun. I have fun with it. I enjoy this movie. It was a lot of fun in theaters. There's Something About Mary, classic raunchy comedy. A Perfect Getaway. It's good. It's underrated. Paycheck. I have not watched yet. Next up we have got Patient Zero, which I haven't seen yet either. Passenger 57. Awesome movie. Wesley Snipes. 90s. What am I saying? 90s. Ransom. Ransom is something I haven't seen either. It came as a recommendation from my buddy Chris. Rain Man. Rain Man is really good. I love Rain Man. I have fun with it. Can't wait for the 4K. The Raid 2. The Raid and Raid 2 are so good. And I have a Raid Steelbook. I love Raid. Those are some of my favorite like martial arts action movies. Race is good. I've seen it once. It's been a long time. Quarantine. I have not watched Wreck, but I've seen Quarantine. I do like Quarantine. I've never seen The Purple Rain. Prom Night remake, you know, shouldn't have been PG-13. They had the potential to make a really good remake and drop the ball because it's PG-13, but I actually had fun with it when I was younger, despite it being PG-13 and not good. Prom, it's okay, I guess, for what it's worth. No. What is this? The Project? It was like $1, half-price books. Pretty Woman. You know, I'm not in love with this movie. I think it's overrated a bit. I don't love Pretty Women. I don't know. There's better movies to do it, I feel like. I guess it's one of the first to do it, if not the first. But anyways, Premium Rush, that's fun. It's pretty fun. It's good. The Postman, I've never seen. And then last but not least in this stack here is going to be Poseidon. And, oh my goodness, Poseidon. This is fun movie to watch on January 1st. Or New Year's Eve, I guess. New Year's Eve it would be. Or New Year's Day. Whatever. You could do either or. You could tell I'm getting tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. I was up late doing the stream and then backstage. And it is super early. I had a client this morning. And I've got stacks of movies around me. And I'm trying to finish up. I got a couple more rows. So I'm going through it as quick as possible. So if you're still watching, thank you so much. And I will hopefully get it finished soon. Continuing on here, we've got Sudden Death. Another one that's getting a 4K from Kino Lorber, I believe. One of my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. That awkward moment is fun. I enjoy it. Tango and Cash is just fun. It's a fun buddy cop movie. Takers, it's good. It's good. It's not great. It's good. Taken, the original one. I believe Taken 2 and 3 have slips. That's why they're in a different spot. Taken's kind of like one of those, I don't want to say classic, but like it started the whole Liam Neeson action movies, and Taken was awesome. That was badass. Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 is good. I guess I have Take Me Home Tonight, but without a slip cover. So a little shout out to Cody. He had a scene in this movie, or like 2 or 3 scenes in this movie as extra. Table 19, another one I need to slip for. Swordfish, I've actually never seen Table 19. Swordfish is good. It's not great. It's good. Surviving Christmas, I have fun with it. I like Ben Affleck, and Christina Applegate is great in it. Sunshine is very good. One of the better sci-fi movies out there. What Lies Beneath, I can't remember if I've seen it once, but I don't remember it. Waist Deep is not great. It's not good, but it's fun. I like it. And Lorenz Tate's in it. The voices I wasn't a fan of. Didn't work. The humor didn't work. Nothing about this movie really worked for me, except maybe the cat and dog, and I didn't even like those. The Victor Crowley, so the 4th Hatchet movie. This is the worst easily by far. What If? This is fun. Good romantic movie. Romantic comedy in a way. What Happens in Vegas? Guilty pleasure right here. Big fan of What Happens in Vegas. Huge guilty pleasure of mine. We Were Soldiers, one of the better war movies out there. Very, very emotional. Weekend at Bernie's. Fun. Very fun. The Wedding Singer. Classic, 90s. Good one. I enjoy it. I had fun with it. Drew Barrymore, Adam Sandler. We Bought a Zoo. It's okay. It's not bad. It's above average, I guess, for what you're expecting. The Weatherman. I don't think I've seen this. If I have, it's been a long time when I was a kid. The Waterboy, Bobby Boucher. Oh, yeah. I'm the Waterboy. Yep, that's a good one. Vicky Valancourt showed me her boobies, and I liked them. I love Waterboy. It's super quotable. I got called Bobby Boucher all the time when I was younger. The Watcher is fun. I haven't watched it in like 20 years, though. So, yeah, 23 years. I think it's been since theaters. War Room, same director as Courageous and Fireproof. Tony, something he would enjoy, but probably not most other people. So, yeah, it's directed by Alex Kendrick. I liked it. Waiting. Oh, this is good. This is good. Good stuff. Sleepers. Very good. Excellent movie. Excellent movie. Slapshot. Awesome. Fun stuff. 6 Wives of Henry LaFay. I got this because of the actresses in it for the most part. You got Alicia Cuthbert, Jenna Dowan, Dowan, whatever. But Tim Allen's also in it. It's not good, as you would expect, but it's not terrible, I guess. Silent Night, the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. I like it. Signs, I like it as well. Shooter, I enjoyed it. It's not great. She's Out of My League is awesome. This is so good. One of my favorites out there as far as raunchy comedies go. She's the Man. Awesome, fun stuff. Guilty pleasure of mine. She's Having a Baby. Now, this is the one that was written by John Hughes. I got this mixed up with whatever the Kevin Bacon other one was. But yes, this is the John Hughes one he wrote. I haven't seen that. £7. I've seen it in theaters. It's been a long, long time. I'll have to rewatch it. See No Evil. So there's that See No Evil. See No Evil 2 has a slipcover, so different spot. I like See No Evil. I like Kane as a wrestler, too. Sucker Punch. Fun. It's a good one. And the next 4 here are going to be Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, and Scream 4. So all Scream movies here. This is the best horror franchise out there, in my opinion. It's perfect. There's not a bad movie in sight with those movies. Even if you don't like Scream 3, there's still fun to be had, and it's still good. And I actually love the showdown at the end of Scream 3. I'm a big fan of it. I need a slip for Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. So if there's anybody willing to part ways and sell or trade slips for any of these movies, let me know. I would gladly buy them off you and take them off your hands. So let me know. Just, slide into my DMs and let me know a price. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Love this movie. It's a guilty pleasure. It's so much fun. This is a blast. This movie's hilarious, and it's entertaining. It's fun. School of Rock. This movie rocks. Say Anything. Yeah, it's good, I guess, from what I remember. Saw the final chapter, I believe. Yep. These movies become jumbled. I need to do like a Saw, the whole franchise and go through and watch them, like I did with Fast and Furious recently. The Sapphires. This was okay. It's not something I'm super into. Summer of '84. I got the 4K, but this is also very good. It's kind of like Disturbia. Safety Not Guaranteed. Didn't like this movie that much. I don't remember liking it. Safe Haven, another one that I actually really like. I believe it's another Nicholas Sparks movie. I could be wrong. But I think Julianne Hough in this is beautiful. RV I've never seen. And Hot Take, was not a fan of the Rules of Attraction. I did not like this movie. I know it's got Jessica Biel dancing around in her underwear. Yes, Mizzy. I know he's a big fan of that. But I didn't like Rules of Attraction very much. Not for me. Almost there. Reign Over Me. Superbly underrated. Adam Sandler is great in this. He's brilliant. My Best Friend's Wedding. I need to get this 4K. I need to get it with the slip. I haven't watched this in ages. We're talking 20 plus years. Mrs. Doubtfire. Just recently rewatched it. And it's good. It's one of those movies, again, where I just had genuine laughs coming out of me watching this movie. I had a fun time with it. Moneyball is really good. Miss March is not great, but fun little fact, the director of this did direct Barbarian, which was played by the kid in the coma in it. The Mexican, I've actually never seen. Mother's Day, I just watched it on Mother's Day. This is a great remake, I guess. I've actually never seen the original, though. Men of Honor, top 5, top 10 of all time for me. This is one of the most inspirational movies you will ever see. I love this movie. Shark something. Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Now, who the hell comes up with these movies? I'll tell you what. It's not for us to decide, but they're out there, and they're fun and terrible. And, yeah, I haven't seen this one, and actually I haven't seen this either. Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. But, little fun fact, Jose Prentice on the back of it, right here, he wrote the screenplay. He is on Instagram. I've been on his streams before. He goes by Master Chaos. He wrote the script to this. He wrote the screenplay, so that's cool. I need to send him this so he could sign it, but that's really cool. I got to check this out, at least to be able to talk to him about it, so I got to check this movie out. Mechanic, I haven't watched this I can't remember this one very well, or the sequel, but I remember liking both. Me Before You, I love this movie. I love Emilia Clarke in this movie. This is an emotional one. Mom's Night Out is, I guess it's kind of faith-based. It's definitely a faith-based movie. It's directed by the Erwin brothers. They've directed some other, like I Can Only Imagine, and I Still Believe, and American Underdog. I think this is fun, and it's funny, and I don't think you have to be somebody who's a Christian or anything to enjoy this movie, because I actually really enjoy Mom's Night Out. I think it's fun. You got Trace Adkins, Sarah Drew, Sean Astin. It's fun. If you haven't checked it out, I can't promise you'll enjoy this. Some people might think this is really stupid, but I think there's some really laugh-out-loud moments in this movie. Role Models is so fun. Such a funny movie. And it's just a ton of fun. Like, Paul Rudd, Sean William Scott, Elizabeth Banks is gorgeous in it. Like, it's a fun one. The Rock, it's good. I probably waited too long to see it, but it's good. It's a bit long. Roadhouse is classic, right? I need to get that 4K from Vinegar Syndrome during their sale. Risky Business, I am not the biggest fan of. I do like it. I just don't think it's nearly as good as I was hoping for. Rebecca De Mornay's in that as well. Righteous Kill should have been better with that cast. I remember this trailer and being so excited to watch Righteous Kill. Revenge of the Nerds, I waited too long to see it. I don't mind it. It's not one of my favorite raunchy comedies. Rest Stop, Dead Ahead, and Rest Stop. So Rest Stop is really good. Rest Stop, Dead Ahead, Don't Look Back. I'm sorry, it's called Don't Look Back. I think Joyride, Dead Ahead or something. But Rest Stop's good. I didn't really like the sequel. There's some tongue cutting in these movies and some other stuff, and they're really violent in some parts in some of these. I would recommend this one. I probably wouldn't recommend the sequel. But if you want to check them both out, I think Rest Stop's really good. I'm not a big fan of the ending of Rest Stop, though. But I think Joey Lawrence is in it. Yeah, Joey Lawrence is in the original Rest Stop. And Jamie Alexander. I think Jamie Alexander was in one of the, like, Wild Things foursome. Resident Evil Afterlife 3D. The Resident Evil franchise is another blur where they all get jumbled up. The only one I remember is Apocalypse, I believe, which is the second one, and the first one. I remember them all, but the 4th, 5th, and 6th get a little jumbled. Reservoir Dogs, it's probably not one of my favorite Tarantino movies, but it's another good one. Like, Tarantino can't do wrong. Repo Men was good. I haven't watched it in ages. I didn't mind it. It's just not great. Replacements is fun. Fun football movie. Another football movie we got, Remember the Titans. So I do like both of these for as far as football movies go. Let's go. We have got Reindeer Games. Let's go. Best Christmas movie of all time. It's a running joke at this point. Yes, I pulled it as my #1 favorite Christmas movie. And I will never hear the end of it. So I'll just run with it. I love Reindeer Games. I need to get a one-sheet poster for that for sure. Cody sent that to me where I could find it, so I need to get that. My Dog Skip is good. I haven't watched this in ages, probably since the theaters. My Bloody Valentine remake, I'm a big fan of. Overboard, I don't know if I've even seen this. I've seen the remake. I've seen Overboard, but it's been ages, and I don't remember it. The Outsiders, it's a good one. Good cast. I've never seen The Outpost, another dollar movie. Out for Justice, I did just recently watch this for the first time. I've never seen Outbreak. Otis, I've never seen. Orange County, I just recently rewatched, and it was good, not great. Office Christmas Party, very fun. Probably top 15, top 10 Christmas movies. I love watching it every year. I have such a fun time with that movie. October Baby is about a girl that was basically in a failed abortion. So abortion gone wrong. It's a true story, and I've seen it. I like it. It's emotional. It's a true story, and yeah, just if that's something that sounds like it interests you, like I said, she was her mother tried to abort her, and it was a failed abortion, and she ends up finding her at the end. It's sad. Kidnap. It's good, I guess. It's not bad. Halle Berry. It's like The Call. Is that what it's called or something like that? Kickboxer. This is top 5 Van Damme for me. Van Damme. The Notebook. Nicholas Sparks. I actually seen this in theaters with my mom. So funny story. Most of these romantic movies or chick flicks, I usually, I'll see those in theaters with my mom, actually. So I've seen this in theaters with my mom. A lot of the other ones I have as well. Like The Longest Ride as well. So, I don't know. There's something about, I guess, taking my mom to go see a movie, and it's usually something like The Notebook. And it's fine with me because I don't mind them. I like The Notebook. No Good Deed is good. I think it's decent. I've only seen it once. Obsessed is a ton of fun. This is a fun watch. I enjoy it. I think Ellie Larder is perfect in her role in this movie. And Beyonce's actually pretty decent. She overacts a little bit, but she's not terrible. She's not bad in it. Next up, we've got No Country for Old Men. This has to be considered a masterpiece. It's so good. No Country for Old Men is probably a masterpiece. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. It's fun. I remember that in high school very well. New Year's Eve. It's one of those Gary Marshall movies like Mother's Day. And I'm so tired. I'm free. Valentine's Day, which was in February. But you already know that. When I get tired, and like this is a long video, I just start to drag, right? So I apologize. New Year's Eve, trying to get through it. So I like those. Nerve. I've seen it once. I remember thinking it was above average. Not bad. The Negotiator. I haven't seen it. Need for Speed. I love it. I love Need for Speed. I won't say it's better than the original Fast and Furious, but honestly, Need for Speed's highly underrated. Not enough people talk about Need for Speed, and I know Nick's a big fan of it. Vacation. It's getting a 4K. I like it, but hot take. But there's a reason why. Vegas Vacation is my favorite, and it was the first one I seen, and I didn't watch any of the other ones until I got older. So Vegas Vacation was my favorite. European Vacation, National Lampoons, I guess. Do you put them under National Lampoons or under European Vacation, Christmas Vacation, and all that stuff? Curious. Animal House, need these pot bar slip covers. Classic, fun, and Mystic Pizza is another good one. And then I just have one more row, and once we get past that, we are finished. So, Mystic Pizza, it was good. Almost done here. We've got the Rambo collection. I love every one of these movies for the most part. Some are better than others, but First Blood is incredible. American Pie 4 movie collection, all 4 of these. I also love all 4 of these. And then Saw, the complete collection, up to final chapter, whatever that means. It's also a franchise that I remember really liking, but they get jumbled together. Spy, I thought was decent. Haven't watched it in ages. Untraceable, I thought was also decent. Haven't watched it in ages. To Save a Life, this is about a high school shooting. I really like it. Faith-based movie. I saw it when I was younger. We'll see how it holds up if I do decide to rewatch it anytime soon. Traffic is something that just took me by surprise. And I'm not saying in the best way. It's about sex trafficking, and I had zero clue. I thought this was a home invasion movie, and it's really dark, like really dark. And I just did not see that coming, so I didn't know what I was getting into. Straw Dogs remake, I like this actually more than the original. I'm not saying the original is a bad movie. It just didn't, I don't know. I didn't love it. I appreciate the original, though. Soul Men, I've only seen this once, and I remember laughing my ass off when I watched this. We'll see if I still laugh 20 years later almost. Snowpiercer, this was really good. Small Soldiers, fun kids movie, right? Kind of, watched it when I was younger. Stop Loss, this is actually something I love. I love this movie. This is I wouldn't even call this a guilty pleasure. I just think it's a highly underrated movie. I think it's really good. Whether it's accurate or not, that's up for you guys to argue. I really like Stop Loss. I'm a big fan of it. I bought this movie called Turbo Cola, and it's okay. It's not really okay. It's not really good. 999. What is it? I've seen this once. I can't remember it very well. Vertical Limit. I just recently rewatched this. Some of the CGI is bad. Really bad, and green screens and all that stuff, but it's fun. Vertical Limit's a lot of fun, especially like the last 45 minutes of it. Sleepless, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, Sleepless is it's decent. It's not bad. I have never seen To Catch a Thief. Street Kings is also kind of underrated, underappreciated. I don't know if it's great, but I enjoyed it. Some twists and turns in that one. I've never seen Running with Scissors. Rounders is very good. Gambling movie. Under Siege 2. I already pulled out Under Siege earlier, so I got to check that and Under Siege 2 out. Vegas Vacation. Once again, my favorite, but I watched it first before all the others when I was a kid. Cradle to the Grave is probably my favorite DMX movie. It's got some bad moments and some corny moments and very cheesy, but it's fun. Run, Lola, Run is great. I pulled Waiting earlier, and here's Still Waiting. We've got The Ruins, which I would love to see this get a 4K. I think the colors in this would look great in 4K. I think this movie grows on me every time I watch it. I think it's actually underappreciated. I think it's unique and original and has very intense and uncomfortable moments. So I'm a big fan of The Ruins. I'm an advocate for that movie. Tommy Boy, better than Black Sheep. Probably my favorite Chris Farley. I think, maybe, possibly. Tombstone, I haven't seen yet. I need to watch it. I know Caprice has recommended that, and multiple people, Adam has. Ronin is good. Ronin is good. Valentine's Day, there's that other Gary Marshall movie. Training Day, classic, excellent movie. Stripes, not my favorite raunchy comedy, but it's decent. It's still fun. Striptease, I've never seen. I gotta check this out. You got Demi Moore. Romeo Must Die is another DMX. Well, DMX is just in it for a little bit, but Jet Li and Aaliyah's in this, and I really like Romeo Must Die. It's cheesy as well. Snakes on a Plane is, talk about cheesy. This is fun. This is fun stuff right here. I am a big fan of Snakes on a Plane. Guilty pleasure for sure. Super fun. Smashed. This might be my favorite movie about addiction. This is heavy. There are some moments and performances. I am still upset that Mary Elizabeth Winstead was not nominated for an Oscar for her performance in this. She crushes it. There's a scene about 3 minutes long. It's like 2 minutes long, but they don't cut. It's just shot in one take, and it's remarkable. This movie hit really hard for me. Smashed is really, really good. Excellent movie. Smashed is so good. Romancing the Stone, I have not seen. I bought it. It was going to be on a Zemeckis stream. Wasn't on it. Didn't get around to watching it yet. The Roommate is not bad. It's not bad. Uncle Buck is awesome. John Hughes wrote that script as well. I love the big ass pancake that he has, and I love when he tells that woman to go take a quarter and go have a rat gnaw that mole off her face. Hilarious. Uncle Buck's fun. 1 Hour Photo, another one. The slip cover was pulled for it last night. I don't have the slip for it. I didn't even know there was a slip until my brother Derek told me. Space Between Us is good. This is another one I'm missing the slip for. I like this movie. I like Britt Robertson. Running Man, got the 4K now, but there's the Blu-ray. It's not bad. The Ultimate Gift. You know what? I'm a fan of The Ultimate Gift. I think this movie's unique. I read the book, too, as well, which I never really read books, the novel. But this is I don't know. I think most people would probably not like this movie. I like it. I like The Ultimate Gift. I don't know. There's something inspiring about it. I think it's a really, really good movie for me. Twister, I need to rewatch this. I've seen this probably 25 years ago, so I need to rewatch that badly. Soul Surfer is another faith-based movie. She loses her shark. She loses her arm to a shark attack, and she's a surfer, so check that out if you're interested in something like that. Rumble in the Bronx is classic Jackie Chan. Very fun. I enjoy that one. And the last movie we're going to pull today is going to be Unleashed, which some could say I saved the best Jet Li for last. I love Unleashed. It's probably my favorite Jet Li movie. I haven't watched a lot of his foreign ones, though, as well, so I really would like to dive into some of those. But that is everything. This is probably going to be a really long video. I will try to edit out some parts, but just going to put it right up. I'm going to do my best to get it up. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear what some of your favorite movies are that I pulled out, which ones you own. And yeah, until next time, I hope everybody has a great day. And thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.